and we're going to shift gears now and go to Joni and Goldie, who are going to talk about RadFem Summer Camp. So welcome, Joni and Goldie.
I'm Goldie Hoffman. I am an actor, comedian, writer, and but now mainly RadFem, radical feminist, and organizer of RadFem Summer Camp, one of the organizers.
Hi, I'm Joni Zander, and I am a van lifer. I was thinking about my introduction and realizing that I am literally sitting in a van down by the river right now on public lands. So I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, so I would like to show you a quick video invitation so that you can see what we've got going on for you. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Leigh.
Hi, I'm Goldie.
Hi, I'm Joni.
And I'm Frida, another one of your RadFem Summer Camp counselors.
And I'd like to invite you to a woman-only week in the woods, June 24th to 30th, featuring radical feminist history and theory, political strategy and organizing skills, along with songs and stories around the campfire, free time for making friends, fun and games, gentle hikes, arts and crafts, live performance, and some very yummy food.
Come to Wolf's RadFem Summer Camp for up to 7 days to teach and learn, recharge and reconnect, listen and be heard, meet with old friends and new, as we build a magical village in a hidden forest venue. Find out more at womensliberationfront.org under the Getting Involved tab.
Presenters include human rights activist and author Yasmin Mohammed, writer, radical feminist, and environmentalist Leigh Keith, writer and historian Aja Lyons, writer and professional organizer Amanda Kovatana, and many more.
Come for all 7 days, or as little or as much of it as you can. Not into camping? We have a hotel nearby with a discount just for you.
And if you love the idea of RadFem Summer Camp and want to support camp and the women attending, we also welcome your donations. Again, our website is womensliberationfront.org/2025-summer-camps. We hope to see you there.
Oh, yes, dogs are welcome too. Well, as long as they're well behaved and not just when they're sleeping.
We wanted to share just a really quick about how we each came to the movement. I have been in women and girls only space my whole life. I'm a lifelong Girl Scout, very disappointed with how that organization is going right now. But also as a nomad, I've been organizing nomadic women and then nomadic lesbians. And luckily found myself in with a whole bunch of radical feminists on the road, and started visiting women's lands, and it was just a natural progression for me. I totally entered the scene in a very different way, and that's something we wanted to highlight. You know, we all come from different walks of life. The US is so vast. And we're not just in the US, you know, Canada, US, everywhere. And, you know, we all have different backgrounds, and we're all here on this issue, on building this movement. I came into it because from a very young age, I was born into actually a very ultra religious environment in a Hasidic Judaism. And if you know anything about that, there are very strict defined gender roles, dress codes, all of that. So when I saw this happening, I instantly recognized this as regressive, and, you know, the thing that I, you know, got away from. You know, it was terrifying to see this. I kept, you know, watching this with apprehension. I wasn't in any of the movement. I studied history and politics, and then went into entertainment. And of course, as you know, Hollywood is completely captured. And so I sat there for several years, you know, having to do this juggling act of self-censorship and not, and all the while watching this and saying, is anyone doing anything about this? You know, not from you know, necessarily a religious right-wing perspective, but from a true progressive, secular humanist, feminist perspective. And you go down the rabbit hole, and I found I saw Kara Dansky, W.D. Ista, Kelly J. Keene, Kathleen Stock,
Leigh Keith, and just I saw that an event was coming up with WGI, and I had to be there in San Francisco. And so here we are, a few years later, a few conferences later, and boom, I'm one of the organizers doing this. Join the fight.
If you are not out of the closet with your radical feminist and gender critical views, and have to be careful with your job, your friends, your family, we will be taking precautions at camp. You'll be able to opt out of all photos and videos. The name tags will have either green or red lanyards, so everyone knows who can be included in pictures. We're not giving the general location until you're registered, and everyone who's registered is vetted. So we're not giving the specific location until the day before. And the general location is the Pacific Northwest of the US. We also have someone handling security. It's really important to us to maintain this as a women's only space.
Yeah, speaking of women's only space, that's one of the key importance I know for a lot of us, but with this event, especially to provide and foster that, not just a place where we can discuss and learn strategies to fight this, but also to provide more women only spaces culturally. So we're mixing, conference and fun. We have basically, if you've never been, I know a lot of people sometimes, if you were in my situation, you're a member of this movement, but just as a lurker or online. And if you've never been to a women's only space, I mean, it's something to experience. Those of you who have, of course, you want it again. And it's kind of ironic for me because when I was a child, I forgot to mention earlier, I was what they would call today gender dysphoric. I wanted to be a boy. And I didn't think I was one, but I wanted to be one. And so this is another thing that brought me here. And so I knew that if I was just several years younger, they would have gotten me. So my heart goes to the detransitioners. And what I wanted to say, but back to the point at hand, is that it's the women's only space. When I was younger, it was something I resented for several years. After I was no longer religious, it wasn't something I was attracted to. And in entertainment, unfortunately, it's a very dog eat dog world, especially with women. So I have not seen the collaboration and friendship and camaraderie that I would want, and that people often pay lip service to. This is not that. So this really truly is an amazing thing. And I hope that you come. If this is your first time, this is going to be, I think, one of the funner events, but definitely it's something you want to experience, and is one of our main priorities.
Yeah, for sure. If you have not experienced women only space, it is truly magical. It is one of my favorite things, and I have started creating as much women's only space as I can throughout my life as a nomad. But what makes RadFem Summer Camp special? Conferences are amazing, and WDI does have their conference announced, and it's coming up. But we wanted to go a step farther and have a full week of not just conference, but an adult summer camp vacation. So we're going to have both competitive and cooperative games. We're going to have gentle hikes in the woods, swimming in the river, classic summer camp activities like tie-dyeing, songs and stories around the campfire, open mic and karaoke. We're going to have dancing under the stars, a variety show. We have a woman volunteering to lead yoga in the mornings. We're going to bring out the henna, just to name some of the fun activities in store for you at RadFem Summer Camp. And since conferences can be overwhelming, we've built in lots of free time to think, relax, recharge, get to know the other women, and just be. It's in a magical forest setting. It's a wonderful private location.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's not just for fun. One of the things of providing that, and we know this is women, that in addition to the conference speakers, the ideas percolate, they marinate, and then you get together and you have these talks, not just over meals or hangouts, but around the fire. And that's, it's like the kitchen table politics. That's how things, get done. You're going to meet people. If you're coming solo,
Don't be worried about that. I knew nobody when I went to my first WDI conference in San Francisco, and didn't know a soul, and met all sorts of people. And at first we have all types, and yeah, we have people coming from all over. So overseas, we have some people coming from the UK, Australia, Canada, here. So we're hoping it's going to be quite diverse and international. Yeah, so no matter how far you are, this is an invitation to you too. We are still adding to the lineup, but what we are really excited about is we really want to have a diverse set of speakers, and not just in terms of their backgrounds, but also in terms of the topics discussed. So we're going to cover a lot of ground. We have speakers speaking about, of course, surrogacy is also going to be on topic. So even though I said at the top, we're switching gears, it's obviously a major issue. We are going to be, Leah Keith's going to be doing a workshop on NVDA, nonviolent direct action, and RadFem 101. I'm actually going to do a presentation on purity politics and how to approach controversial, potentially wedge issues. We've got Frida, who's in the chat as well, and she's going to be discussing sex and gender. We have other speakers tackling, racism within feminist movements, anti-Semitism within feminist movements, and things that can and do lead to factionalism. And also lots of fun, and as you said, strategizing. So we'll be doing workshops and hands-on things as well. But yeah, the fun part is part of that too, because I really believe they do go hand in hand. You could have potentially thorny issues discussed, but we need to be able to go there if this movement is going to get somewhere, because and discuss it civilly, and then you go for a walk together, and that's we're women. We know how to deal with this. We know how to communicate and multitask, and we can, I think, learn to we can tackle all types of topic and still learn to remain colleagues and friends and comrades. So
yeah, now you may be thinking that if it's a camping or camp out that you need to be driving, and that is not true. If you're flying in, we're going to have tents and other camping equipment to loan. We've also secured a discount at a nearby hotel. There's also Airbnbs nearby. And because women are coming from all over, and food while you're camping can be really complicated, we are providing all of the meals. So so don't worry about traveling in from far away. We do have women coming from, as Goldie said, Australia, UK, Canada. Although we were realizing that the women coming from Vancouver are actually closer to the event than Goldie is in the LA area. So, but it is going to be an international event. And that does cover our presentation. And we may have time for a few questions, but again, our website is womensliberationfront.org/2025-summer-camps. And I know that Leah and Frida are putting it in the chat. So Goldie and I want to say, come learn and have fun with us. Once you register, we do have an email that goes out, and if you need airport information, then you request that from us, and we'll give you the airport information that makes it really specific as to where you're going. But the general area is the Southern Oregon area. So if you're thinking about a road trip or whatever, but yeah, so the town gets sent to you right away. And then the actual specific location will be sent out the day before.
Yes, as you all know, and I'm sure this is an issue for all of you, unfortunately, this is why it's so hard to have these spaces. You have people actively trying to get these shut down or infiltrate or attack, and it's terrible. And we're not going to let that stop us, of course. WDI, Wolf, that's why So we do have to do that, but of course, we will make sure everybody who's coming is there. You know, if we get a frantic call, even at the airport, I didn't read that part, we'll come help you. No, we're not leaving anyone stranded, and everybody's vetted, and we are thorough with that. It's a protection, as I said, both our attendees and our speakers. We will be doing our own security as well, and yeah, it's a beautiful region, Pacific Northwest. That's what we can say. It's one of the most beautiful regions. I didn't mention I'm Canadian and American. I've lived all over in both. And they brag about that when I lived in Vancouver, most beautiful place on earth, BC. And I'm like, it's not just you. So, you know, there's some states in that region, but yeah. So that's, you know, you'll get all the information.